How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to show you 5 different ways to keep your hole from freezing while you're ice fishing. Now today it's beautiful, it's 32 degrees, I don't have to worry about my hole freezing up, but that's not always the case. And next week we have a big cold front coming. It's going to get cold, it's going to get below zero, and then that's going to become much more of an issue. I'm going to give you 5 different ways to do this. Stick around for number 5 because it is the best way I have found to keep your holes from freezing, hands down. So let's get started with number 1. May seem obvious, but tip number 1 is fish inside a shelter. Now you can fish inside a flip over, inside a hub, and put your heater on, and that is going to keep your jigging hole from freezing. Now obviously that covers one aspect of ice fishing, but what about those set lines? What about your tip ups, your jaw jackers? What if you want to use those set lines in conjunction with jigging? Well, there's a couple different options. One option is right here, and that is a simple foam hole cover. These actually work really well, especially for tip ups. You just put your tip up spindle through the hole here and set it down on the ice. The water underneath is warmer than the air, so it kind of holds that heat in, and also keeps blowing snow off of your hole. So these are great. I also use them for jaw jackers. You can just slide the line in here and keep that one little hole open there. One little tip: if you're using jaw jackers and it's really cold, you'll still get freeze ups with that hole, but I'll pile snow right on top of this, and that will kind of keep that whole thing insulated even better, and even that hole right there, and the line can still slide through and you can hook a fish. And when you hook a fish, you just pull it apart, slide it off the line, and you're good to go. That is option number 2, is just use a foam hole cover. So option number 3 is to use an actual thermal tip up. Now this one's made by Clam. A thermal tip up is basically just the base of the tip up itself is insulated, and this has a piece of foam sandwiched in there, and you can use that to cover your hole. Now one little tip for using these is you can take a little package of hand warmers, take one out, and you can actually duct tape that to the bottom of your cover and make sure it's sitting up above the water a little bit, and that will actually heat the inside of your hole enough to keep the ice out of it. So that's option number 3. Use some kind of thermal tip up. Option number 4 is you can actually use an aerator, like a minnow aerator, to put in the hole where your tip up or your jaw jacker is sitting, and it will bubble the water up a little bit and kind of stir up the water, and that can help keep your ice hole ice free. And it works pretty well, but you have some issues. You get some splashing from the bubbles, and that can freeze on your tip up, etc. So it works in some situations in a pinch. So tip number 5 is one I'm super excited about, and I just started using them this year, but they work absolutely phenomenal, and that is the Cold Nation Outdoors Ice Defense System. So that little blue guy right there that's attached to my float on my flasher here, that is a water pump, and it hooks right to the battery on my FLX30. I just basically clip it to the power cord. I just rubber banded it to my my float right here, and that's going to circulate the water in every hole that I fish with this flasher. It's just going to pump the water, circulate it, and keep it from freezing. That's the Pro Defense system, and that has a variable speed drive right here. I just mounted mine underneath my screen, and that will allow you to circulate the water at any speed you want to. Works wonderful for hole hopping, and you can fish into below zero conditions no problem with that system. Now I also have the Cold Nation Outdoors Ice Defense. This is not the Pro version, but it works awesome for set lines. Let's go take a look at my jaw jacker right now, and I'll show you what I mean. So as you can see, this thing is working so well that it's actually melting the top of my hole away, and this is just set to circulate water, pull water up from below, and circulate it through the top of the hole, and it just keeps any ice from forming whatsoever down to well below zero. Now I just have that attached to just a 12-volt lithium battery right here, and that works great. So I can set up jaw jackers like this, which obviously have the line going down from the air into the water, and not worry at all if that line is going to freeze into the hole. I can run this all day long and it's not going to freeze on me. So check these things out, they're awesome, and hopefully these 5 tips help you keep your hole ice free this winter. We'll catch you later.